What's going on, guys? ZombifiedGamer here, and welcome back to some more This Is the Police. Truckers complain of high transport tax, performance art at candy factory, artists defecated into vat of chocolate, and a wooden horse toy store upgrades playground. Okay. That's all the same. I don't think City Hall will ever like me, that's why I need Chaffe. While I was taking out the trash last night, I accidentally got into some poison ivy. This morning, I noticed my feet were blistered. It doesn't look like anything serious, but I'd like to see the doctor. Can I take the day off? Do you know what? Sure. I've got enough officers for the day, so you can take the day off. Due to a lack of federal subsidies, the city treasury can no longer afford expensive prosthetics. Disabled veterans who were not going to be receiving artificial limbs somehow learned of this, and have joined with the local journalists to arrange a whole new live news show. Whining on TV is not going to grow anyone new legs. We need to teach people that they'll get no special treatment just because they're disabled. If you need to grab someone's crutches and put their nose in asphalt, so be it. Well, I definitely won't be doing that. And we have a new inspection, okay.
415 in progress.
A man in a Santa Claus suit who was supposed to be part of the evening show drank a lot of alcohol and ran straight into the midst of the festivities, then climbed up to the giant tree and began to swing. The audience is shouting for the man to come down. The tree is about to fall over on top of them. Oh, and you need 4 people with the SWAT and a paddy wagon. But guess what? You can suck a dick. Not interested. Pace off. Gotcha. I won't be back in time for either of these 2 calls. And you have taken 3 of today's officers for questioning. So I can't do jack shit for the day. You absolute pricks. I guess that's the end of the day then, since I can't do anything else. And we have no new frames on that, of course. And that's the end of the actual day. We have 3 people for the next shift. I can't put Chin on there because she'll probably be too tired for her next actual shift.
He's here.
Well, what are you waiting for? Jack, do you know how I managed to stay mayor for so long?
Oh, yeah, I know. Is that what you wanted to talk about?
No, Jack, it's not that. I've stayed in my position because at the very beginning of my career, I learned an important rule. If someone, anyone, friend or enemy, if they want something bad enough, you can hook them with it.
I know just what you mean.
What does Jack Boyd want? A good pension? Doubtful. $500,000. I think that whole nonsense is a myth. The others might think that you just want a paltry sum of money and you'll walk away. I think, no, I'm sure of it. You want what you've always wanted, to remain the chief of police, and only I can give that to you.
Bitch, please, you just want me to help you win.
You are to lead a special operation against Chaffe. I want your team to come down like a hammer on his stinking restaurant. I want you to personally be there and stand in front of the cameras. And I want this fairy shot during his arrest, 12 bullets at least. I want to see his mutilated body all over the airwaves. I expect a perfectly planned operation. And if you keep me happy, you'll keep your job for another 1.5 years.
Is that it? Is that the best you've got for me? 1.5 years? Nah.
I think we have an agreement, huh?
Nope.
Not 1.5 years, Mr. Rogers. For the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You think you can dictate terms, Jack?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm the one with the power here.
Because if someone wants something bad enough, you can hook them with it.
Nice. That was a nice flip there, Jack.
I think we have an agreement.
I mean, I'm not going to help him, to be fair. I despise the guy. I'd rather help Chaffe, even though he's a bit dodgy. He's not as bad as Rogers, I don't think. Groundwater spill threatens Freeburg with flooding. Black handsome hairdresser promoters mistaken for drug dealers. And homeless banned from rail station. That's all the same, let's go to work. And Percy didn't show up, neither did Chin, and neither did Fistbatch. Great. They say it's going to rain, I have a weak immune system. I don't care. You're not going home. And you're not going home either, because I don't want to be arrested. So this day is going to be pretty poor, because I've only got 2 people.
1210 in progress.
Hello, I've been staying at the motel with my sweetie, having a little fun and relaxing, you know? And we saw a creepy guy with a scar on his face coming out of the next room. I recognised the guy right away because I've seen him like 5 times on the TV, his picture's all over the news, he's suspected of murdering a bunch of people, he's still here, but you better hurry. I mean, I'll go there, but it does sound like a false alarm. But I've been wrong about that kind of thing before, so you never know.
1210 complete.
God damn it. And now he's gone shit.
1310 in progress.
Can we make it in time for this fraud? No.
1310
Well then.
910B in progress.
A man was robbed by 2 thugs armed with nunchucks. One came from behind and hit me in the back of the knees, and the other struck me in the nose. I didn't pass out, but near enough. They took all of my money and just walked away slowly. Okay, let's get going.
Officer,
Ah shit, 2 guys with nunchucks are calmly walking down the street. Okay, turn on the siren.
910B complete.
They ran away. Of course they did. The gravelly voice of Mrs. Adams just phoned in with a new demand. There's brazen black virgins spreading their infection right there in broad daylight. Remove them from the street, I'm afraid for our health. Well, you can fuck right off. A cleaner was mopping her boss's office and found strange bundles of wires sticking out from under the table. I'm afraid to even move, whispered the woman. I mean, that's probably just terrible cable management, rather than a bomb. The bomb in question was just a mess of wires, nuts and bolts pushed into a piece of soap. Apparently someone from the office staff was playing a practical joke. I mean, close enough, I suppose. The girls were only handing out flyers for a hairdresser salon. An elderly woman with Alzheimer's barricaded herself in the room with the medications and started swallowing everything she could get her hands on. The nurse says that they can't break down the door on their own. Okay, let's get going then. This should be easy enough to get that guy's rank back up a little bit. It's only breaking down a door at the end of the day.
411 complete.
Nice. They actually did something successfully. No new frames. I'm just gonna archive it, fuck it. And then I'm gonna start the carjacking one. Try and work on that gang. Bring them down. Because I want to progress that. And the abduction one is stuck in the dirt. For some reason. Even though I solved it last time, I had to get arrested, so now I can't have it solved anymore. But less than the day. We'll make Glenn work the next shift, because I've only got 1 person, for some reason. Let's hope they both show up. I don't know where all the rest of my officers have gone.
Mr. Boyd, there's some armed men on the floor. Mr. Boyd, there's a lot of them.
Oh, great.
I didn't catch that. Say again?
Too late, mate. They're already at your door.
Excuse me, Mr. Boyd. It seems I accidentally frightened your secretary. Ah, they publish these stories in a book? My grandfather read me these stories from the old newspapers whenever I was ill. As a child, I was often ill, several times a year. And you know what, Mr. Boyd? You're no Bobby Flash.
I'm aware of that.
No. I mean it as a compliment. You want to clean up all the crime in Freeburg, right?
Or so I dreamed, once upon a time.
Do you know why you failed, Mr. Boyd? Do you know why Bobby Flash always wins? Because when you're surrounded by cartoon criminals, the only way to win is to become a cartoon cop. You're no cartoon, Mr. Boyd. You suffer too much. You have too many doubts, too much fear, too much internal conflict. Maybe that's why the people of this city forgive all your mistakes, because you seem like a real human being. If Bobby Flash made a mistake, we'd never forgive him. From Bobby Flash, we want cold, calculated perfection, and this is why I've decided that I don't mind if you keep your job.
What, have you abandoned your insane plan to storm the city hall?
You think it insane? To solve all my problems in a single stroke, assuming, of course, that we're properly prepared.
Let's say we do burn City Hall to the ground and kill Rogers. What next? You simply walk into the smoke-filled room and take a seat in his smoldering chair?
No, Mr. Boyd. I've been preparing for a year for what happens next. I'll give the prosecutor's office an impressive folder with compromising evidence against Rogers. Information about how he suppressed his political adversaries, finally lost his mind, and plotted to rain blood on the streets of Freeburg. Of course, Troy Starr, faithful City Hall employee that he is, will easily confirm all this. At the same time, my dear Jordan will finally decide to break her silence and tell everyone how that fool Rogers threatened her, forced her to kill all the victims of his sexual violence to ensure their unpleasant stories would never come to light. Of course, everyone will understand that we didn't have time for formal complaints. The night before Mayor Rogers' private security detail would plunge the city into chaos, our valiant police chief Jack Boyd made the difficult decision to arrest the mayor of Freeburg. Unfortunately, Rogers descended into delusion and engaged in a shootout with the police, which ended in his death. We'll have to call an early election to replace the mayor, and of course, it won't be too difficult to win the election fairly.
Well, with your opponent dead now.
And then?
You know, Mr. Boyd, most of the facts that I collected in Rogers' file are quite true. Anyone who reads through the mountain of evidence would have no doubt that this man was the most vile person in the world. Murderer, a rapist, thief, racist, sexist. Are you a sexist, Mr. Boyd?
I'm sorry?
Are you a sexist, Mr. Boyd? Or perhaps racist?
I try not to be.
That's it. I as well. Although I have long been known under a revolutionary pseudonym, I myself am no revolutionary. I believe in evolution. I am convinced that a city which offers such broad support for racist gangs, a city where people cheer as feminist protests are suppressed, a city which for decades has tolerated corrupt officials, I say this city has no interest in a mayor who unconditionally stands for freedom, equality, and the rule of law. Not yet. But perhaps they are ready for a mayor who tries to stand for freedom, equality, and the rule of law, at least when the situation allows it. That's why you're so popular, Mr. Boyd. The city is ready for people like you and me, for people who are ready to make compromises. I'm counting on you, Mr. Boyd.
And, when will they be ready?
I beg your pardon?
You said that the city isn't ready for a mayor who stands for freedom, equality, and the rule of law. When will they be ready? Who decides when they're ready?
I'll decide.
Oh wow, you're actually going to make me choose. You're actually giving me that choice right now. I don't like either of them, to be fair. I despise Rogers, he's a disgusting bastard. Chaffe's more interesting, although I don't like him, he is more interesting. So I think I'll support Chaffe. because I want to see where this goes. It's about time we got rid of Rogers anyway. I mean, Rogers is just a sleazebag, and that's it. But Chaffe's quite interesting. But I'm going to leave this episode here. Leave a like if you enjoyed watching, don't forget to subscribe, and goodbye.
I got a zombie army, and you can't harm me. Yeah, hoodoo, bitch. Drink blood like a vampire without warning. Hoodoo, bitch. Let's go.